that brings us back to my my next question, which is, after doing all this work with the NHL and with the startups that you've worked with, what are some of the leading trends that you studied in the sports and entertainment space, and specifically how have those been modified or disrupted by the challenges we're facing right now in the midst of a pandemic / recession?
So, just as an overview, for sports, COVID-19's basically become the mother of necessity. Their old business model, with its dependence on live events, has had to literally pivot through the world of technology to retain consumer interest, to supplement revenues, and honestly, to keep athletes in top form. When you look at the world of sports compared to other verticals, sports have been a laggard in digital transformation. And that's really because professional leagues rely on the same business model that they've used for decades because it's worked. Their revenues really come from 4 core buckets: rights holders, those huge TV deals and digital rights holders deals, sponsorship, ticket sales, and merchandise. And there's other areas where they generate revenues, but they kind of all roll up into those 4. So if you've got something that works, why change it? But the issue is it's only recently that sports have started to deploy technologies that enable them to compete with other verticals to capture and keep consumers and stakeholders. Because other verticals have been very quick to identify that, oh my gosh, we need technology, we need digital ad tech, we need digital media to be able to engage with our consumers. And sports are just now getting there. So I actually would say that there's like a couple of key trends that are driving this new business model for sports. And one of them is obviously digital media, because digital media provides a targeted advertising audience for brands. There's this entire ad tech stack that a brand, if you're Toyota, you're going to pay a CPM to get a specifically targeted audience. And you love that. You expect the same thing from your sponsorship in sports, but that doesn't exist. Consumer engagement, the ability to gather insights about your fans and their preferences, that's a technology ad stack. Access to cleansed and structured first-party data, essentially knowing exactly who your consumer is, that's a technology stack. And then, of course, in sports, there's athlete performance. Bottom line is, the better your players, the better the outcome. So it's been my experience that, like I said before, COVID, this understanding was already starting to take root and, kind of in those legacy sports properties, but it's really COVID that has driven that acceptance over the line.